All right, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Vinny.
I'm Dylan.
And today we're going to talk about a couple comments that Charlie Munger made about Alibaba, big holding of ours, at the Daily Journal meeting.
Yeah, it definitely means a lot to us because we frankly have a gross amount of money on this. So if you like this kind of entertaining stock market content, there's two stupid guys trying to figure everything out. Give us a like and subscribe.
With that, we'll get to it.
Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks.
All right. So this is Charlie and Becky Quick. Do a couple of questions. So this is shareholder submitted questions for their annual meeting, the Daily Journal Company.
Got it.
You and Warren have been making concentrated investments since the 1950s. Many of these investments have led to gains, but even more impressively, none of them have led to significant losses. As far as I can tell, neither one of you has lost more than a few percentage points of equity on any single investment. Daily Journal has recently bet a large amount.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive record. In 1950s. Okay, just remember,
It's not bad.
70 years ago. I mean, he's 98. So
Of its capital on Alibaba and foreign traded stock. It's also taken on an additional $40 million in margin debt to make these investments. What makes you so
did you know that he took on margin to buy more Baba?
I did not, but he did that. He did that speech a long time ago about when you have these rare opportunities, you go all in. So this is one of his all-in ones.
At least he thinks so. So optimistic.
Yeah.
Sure that these investments won't lead to a substantial impairment of Daily Journal's equity capital, which would impact the company's ability to reinvest the resources needed to develop the company's software operating business?
Well, of course, if you invest in marketable securities, you have the risk that they'll go down and you'll lose money instead of make it. But if you hold a depreciating currency, that's losing purchasing power. On balance, we prefer the risks we have to those we're avoiding, and we don't mind a tiny little bit of margin debt.
Basically, he just said Alibaba is better than the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, pretty much. He's saying it's better than just holding cash as interest and inflation continuously go up. That's fair.
Yeah, in his opinion.
I got lots and lots of questions on Alibaba. That was the one question that I received more than any other. So I'll dig a little deeper through some of these. Someone named Vishal Patel from Toronto wrote in and said that as a Daily Journal owner, do we own local shares of Alibaba? Does that actually give us legal ownership of that business, or do we have a variable interest, and is that the same? Net, what do we own? And I did get a series of questions related to that same sort of
This is
thought.
a confusing topic.
When you buy Alibaba,
it's a legitimate question. What do we own?
Exactly.
you do get a sort of a derivative, but assuming there's a reasonable honor among civilized nations, that risk doesn't seem all that big to me.
Yeah.
Got a lot of questions just about the investing in China risks, and I'll ask this one from Ravi Mehta. He's interested in your take on China and Chinese stock exposure for the long term. He says it's becoming quite evident that Chinese companies could be banned from doing business in the Western world, or maybe some of the Eastern countries too, because of the number of the following reasons. 1, the security threat issues. 2, the potential conflict over Taiwan. 3, inability to meet Western accounting standards. And number 4, human rights issues. Considering all of the risks mentioned above, why would anyone as smart as Munger or Buffett consider investing in China or any of the Chinese companies?
Wow, that's kind of a mean end to that question.
True, very true. Hey, you know what? Legitimate question. How many times have you heard those exact points reiterated?
It's everyone who's too afraid to, and justified. I'm not saying like oh, you're too afraid. Completely justified to be like, hey, I don't want to do it. China can do all these different things. I just thought the end of the question was kind of like not cool. Like, you're so smart. Why would you do this? Screw you, man.
Well, Charlie, you got a Charlie response.
Very simple reason: we got more strength per dollar invested. In China, the companies we invest in are stronger relative to their competition and priced lower.
Think about it. Alibaba controls 51% of the Chinese e-commerce market. Amazon owns about 40% of the American e-commerce market. Bigger market,
right,
but less of it and much higher multiple.
Right.
That's why we're in China.
This one came in from Wasim. He said, although the financials seem strong, do the political pressures from the Chinese government worry you at all?
Well, the Chinese government is worrying all the capitalists in the world way more than it used to. And of course, we don't like that. And we wish that China and the United States got along better. And if you stop to think about it, think of how massively stupid both China and the United States have been to allow the existing tensions to arise. What bad is ever going to happen to China or the United States if we two are close? If we make good friends out of the Chinese and vice versa, who in the hell is ever going to bother us? Of course we should make friends with China. And of course we should learn to get along with people who have a different system of government. We like our government because we're used to it and it has advantages of personal freedom. China could never have handled its life with a government like ours. They wouldn't be in the position they're in. They had to prevent 500 million or 600 million people from being born in China. They just measured the women's menstrual periods when they came to work and aborted those who weren't allowed to have children. You can't do that in the United States, and it really needed doing in China. And so they did what they had to do using their methods. And I don't think we should be criticizing China, which has terrible problems because they're not just like the United States. They do some things better than we do. They should like us and we should like them. So I think nothing is crazier than people who foment resentments on either side of that one.
That is a hot take, my friend.
I mean, when you're a multi-billionaire nonagenarian, you just say whatever comes to mind.
That is I don't have any words for that one. That's I mean, it's fair. It's really hard to judge someone when I don't know anything about their issues. I've never been to China. Yeah. I think it's more the human rights issues that he didn't really. Well, he did touch on a little bit.
He did. I think his core point is that we're looking at this through our Western kind of
our lens
point. You know, and not to say that it is correct in any moral situation, but we're always going to filter it through our own experiences.
Right.
And, we have to remember that we should be considering other viewpoints, even as ridiculous as they may seem on surface.
Right. Essentially what he's saying that we should do is what Russia and China are doing right now.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what?
Threaten other countries with invasion?
No. I meant Putin said about their meeting was it Xing? Xing. What's the head guy in China?
Oh, Xi Jinping.
Okay. He said that their friendship knows no bounds, right? So they're already smitten. They're chilling.
Yeah.
And then we're like the guy on the outside.
Homies be at the strip club together?
Yeah, homies be at the strip club together. Man, I wish I had my soundboard. All
right. Yeah, definitely interesting. At another point, he was actually asked about China versus Russia, and he said it's funny. He's like, I consider China investable, but I consider Russia uninvestable.
I wonder why, because like China just did that whole thing where they like essentially took over the entire education sector and just killed all those companies and stocks.
Yeah.
I wonder why he sees China as more investable than Russia.
I know.
I mean, weirdly enough, I agree, but I don't know. I don't have any logical reason as to why.
He didn't elaborate. And granted, this was filmed like this week when there's 150,000 Russian troops on the Ukrainian border.
Yeah, so, that doesn't help.
Yeah. If you're filtering through recent events, certainly not a friend you want to have in the short term.
That's fair.
All right, guys. Let us know. What do you think about these comments that Bucker made about Alibaba?
Does it make you feel better about your Baba investment?
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence.
I personally sleep on my Alibaba pillowcase. Just stuff full of Alibaba shares and ADSs.
You have an Alibaba pillowcase?
No. But I think about it.
That would have been the most baller thing you've ever done. All right. Thanks, guys.